You are worthy of the success that's about to come to you on today's Oblyron Divination. Greetings, soul family. I am Oblyron, the Lord of Love and the Magister of the Cube. Thank you for joining me on today's Elemental Synastry reading. It's a divination technique I devised which uses the tarot, astrology, and the 5 elements. So this reading transcends space and time, and if you happen to resonate with this reading, then this reading is for you. Also, if you do happen to resonate with this reading, feel free to leave a comment and let us all know how you resonate with it. I would love to hear from you. Okay, so I draw a tarot card to see what is influencing each of the elements. And the first element that we have is the element of spirit, which is represented by the bell. Okay, so the lovers, all right. So in the spirit, in the element of spirit, or I should say, what's happening in the spirit realm is that it is something which is coming to pass, but it hasn't, passed yet, or it hasn't manifested yet. And what we're seeing with it being influenced by the Lovers card is that there is a decision which must need to be made. We know that a decision is coming up, and generally, if it's in the spirit, it's probably a major life decision. It's probably a major milestone that we have to recognize and that we have to address. So let's see what the astrology die have to say about that. So the card influences the element, and the astrology die offer the advice or a possible solution. Okay, so we have Saturn in Aries in the 8th house. All right, let me line this up real quick. Okay, so we are going over to the house of Scorpio. Okay. All right. And let's roll again for the decan. Okay. So we are in the middle decan of Aries. Okay. So I roll once for the house, and I roll a second time for the decan. Now, okay. So a major decision has to be made when it comes to, okay. When it comes to the self. On multiple levels, really. We are in the middle decan of Aries, which is the Lord of Established Strength. Okay, and then we also have Saturn influencing it here as well. So what we're looking at is, when we're going to make this decision, it needs to be carefully considered. It needs to be very structured and organized. We must weigh the pros and cons of the situation. We must look at every little detail when it comes to this. And I would say that, it seems to also be, with the Lord of Established Strength, it seems to also be towards, let's say, the striking out on one's own as well. So it looks like for someone, they may be thinking about possibly changing careers, or possibly going out and on their own as well. Maybe going self-employed. With it being in the house of Scorpio, or the 8th house, which is ruled by Scorpio, it would suggest that it would have to deal with a there could be some type of inheritance, or there could be some type of perhaps needing to reach out and find investors for this particular endeavor. So a decision has to be made when trying to figure out how to, okay, all right, it's starting to come into focus a little bit more. A decision needs to be made when deciding whether or not to follow through with one's plans. And it seems like, yeah, we definitely need to secure some of our money matters. So perhaps looking for, an angel investor, perhaps looking for, for allies. It could be, like I said, the eighth house could be related to an inheritance, but it could also be other people's money too. So, to fund this new endeavor, yeah, we're definitely, it would be wise to seek out some investors. That's what I'm getting from here. And a decision needs to be made about that, whether or not to involve other people or not. Yeah, I know as a business owner, it's definitely, especially when you have a project that you've been working on for so long, you put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. It could be kind of hard to want to let other people, to want to let other people into what you've been working on. But at the same time, no one is an island. We all need each other. And so reaching out to others isn't always necessarily a bad thing. If you could find the right allies who want to invest in your vision as well, it's, yeah, a lot of good can come of it. It doesn't always have to be that, someone is loaning money and then, there's a bunch of strings attached and whatever. It's not always like that. So definitely, yeah, some finances and something has to be secured in order to get this endeavor going. All right, let's move right along. So we are moving on to the element of fire, which is represented by the wands. Now, the fire can represent our drives, ambitions, inspirations, those types of things. So, what is influencing the element of fire? Another thing also is that all of these other elements relate back to the element of spirit. So, yeah, whatever fire is going to say, it's going to relate back to this initial read. All right. So what's influencing fire? Oof. Okay. So we got the Nine of Swords. Wow. Well, that would make sense. That that the reason why the decision hasn't been made, or the reason why, there may be some confusion is because of this card right here, which essentially is stifling one's drive and ambitions. So the Nine of Swords is basically, it's called the Lord of Despair and Cruelty. And generally, yeah, that's exactly what it means. It means despair. It means that, that this person is spending a lot of sleepless nights. They got a lot of they got a lot of worries. They got a lot of nightmares, which are waking them up. Probably because of their worries, all that kind of stuff. So when that's influencing your fire, essentially what it's saying is that, whatever you're trying to do, whatever your drives and ambitions are trying to do, there's definitely that voice of doubt and despair in the background saying, why ask for money because you're going to fail? Why spend your inheritance because you're going to fail? And so unfortunately, it's when we become too trapped in our own minds, we don't do anything at all because we are just essentially paralyzed by fear. So that's what's happening to the element of fire, which could be stifling our ambitions and our drive to come through with this decision. So what is the advice for this? Okay, we have the South Node in Pisces in the first house. All right. Okay, let's re-roll again for the decking. All right. All right, third decan of Pisces, South Node. All right, first house. Okay. So what it's saying, yeah. Okay, so what it's saying is that if we were to go and look towards the lessons of the past, we would find that we were very successful. The third decan of Pisces is the Lord of Perfected Success, and it generally has to deal with a joyous home and family life too. And with it being, with the South Node influencing it, it's saying, look towards the lessons of the past. You had a joyous relationship with people. You had a joyous familial relationship. You had a joyous past. So don't let whatever the current nightmare is, whatever the current despair is, don't let that override where you came from, which is that joyous past. A lot of times we definitely don't want to get stuck in our South nodes because we want to, fulfill the quest of our North node in this lifetime. But sometimes it is important to look at the South node. It's saying, it's saying that again, don't let these current fears overrun you. Don't become paralyzed by fear. You have the ability to tap into that joy. You have the ability to really be your highest and best if you just are able to remember those lessons of the past. And that will help that out. Okay, let's see. We have almost, but not quite. Nothing yet. I almost thought we had an opposition, but not quite. All right, let's move along to the element of air, which is represented by the swords. Now, the element of air is our communication. It can be our intellectual endeavors, all these types of things. Let's see. Maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel for this. Okay. What's influencing air, please? All right. An inverted Six of Swords. So, yeah. So it's not really offering any light at the end of the tunnel, unfortunately. In fact, it's saying that, if anything, there's going to be more trials and tribulations in the future. The inverted Six of Swords is definitely sort of a foreboding type of card. And so not only are we paralyzed by fear for our endeavors, but we are, we're also, it could be that we're having difficulty communicating right now. It could be that no matter what we try to say or do, whatever our approach is, it just never seems to be enough because, again, we're not out of the clear yet. So with these two factors, it actually kind of makes sense that there still has to be a decision being made with all this, with this endeavor. All right. Let's see what the astrology die have to say to that. Another South Node. So South Node in Pisces in the 8th house. A lot of South Nodes, a lot of Pisces, a lot of 8th house too, it seems. All right. Let's see. What's the decan for that? 7. All right. So we are in the middle decan. Here, let me kind of line these up really quick. Okay. Now, what's interesting is that, so we have a conjunction between air and spirit. And usually when we have these types of conjunctions, it means that they're kind of fusing together to sort of reinforce or perhaps maybe make something a little bit new from a different perspective. But the fact that we have, let's say, a decision, or the indecision combined with sort of trouble ahead, it's sort of amplifying each other. So the fact that the decision hasn't been made is still contributing to this. So the decision has to be made in order to sort of begin to untie all of this. And again, that goes back to communicating. Perhaps, yeah. Okay, so, all right. Okay. Yeah, this seems to be pointing more towards an inheritance type of thing because we have, or I should say, more of an inheritance rather than other people's money, because we have so much related to family in these two. So we have the Lord of perfected success over here, and then we have let's see, the middle decan of Pisces is the Lord of material happiness. So, and what's interesting is that both of these are also being influenced by the South Node. So we have two South Nodes in Pisces. And on one hand, it's saying, look, remember the past. Remember the past. Remember where you came from. You came from good times. You came from goodness. You came from abundance. You have the ability to do that as well. I think whoever is resonating with this could possibly be affected by affluenza. I mean, hey man, it's a real thing. If anyone who doesn't know what affluenza is, it's when you come from such a wealthy family that it feels like nothing you ever do will ever be valid. And that's what I'm getting here, is that, here is this enterprise which wants to start up. Here is something, we're at the beginning of something, and it's in the spirit. It wants to manifest. It wants to come to fruition. But yet everything around us, rough waters ahead combined with despair, everything around us is just telling us no. It's sowing the seeds of doubt in us. And really, to overcome that doubt is we have to remember who we are. We have to remember how we got here. No person ever got wealthy because because they didn't have it in them. A lot of people that become wealthy are very driven. They're very intelligent. So this could be someone maybe second or third generational wealth where, they didn't make the money themselves. And they feel like the money is bigger than them. They feel like they're not worthy of the money because they didn't earn it with their own hands. So that seems to be the message that seems to be forming. Again, like I said, with these two in the house of Scorpio, it's either going to be related to either other people's money or inheritance or something like that. So we're getting a lot of inheritance signals. We're getting a lot of family signals too from this as well. Okay, let's move right along. Hopefully, there's a solution to this. Hopefully we could work something out. But sometimes just having the reading, just hearing the reading is helpful enough. Even if the whole reading may be less than beneficial, at least knowing that situation is better than not knowing that situation. Okay. So, moving right along, we are now on Pentacles, which is the element of Earth, and that has to deal with our, I guess you could say, down-to-earth issues, practical issues, bills, money, health. It could also be the material body as well. It could also be spiritual wealth as well, material or spiritual wealth. Okay, so what is influencing Pentacles here? Okay. All right, so we have the Three of Pentacles, which is not bad. So the Three of Pentacles is the Lord of Material Works. Now, it's generally a good sign because it means that you are using your talents for your benefit. It means, and not only that, it means that you're using your talents for your benefit, but you're also starting to become a little bit recognized for it. So that's really good, especially when combined with this Aries reading over here. So we have an endeavor about to start, also combined with being started to with starting to be recognized for your hard work. So if if you are having doubts about whether or not you are worthy of the money or not, well, pat yourself on the back a little bit, because people are starting to recognize that, and perhaps asking for that investment or asking for that loan will be a little bit easier. I know it's hard to ask for money, especially when it feels like you have nothing to offer, but if you do have something to offer, a lot of people, what you'll find, a lot of people are actually more than happy to cut you a check if they know it's going to go to good use. Okay, so we have what's influencing Pentacles. We have the North Node in Virgo in the 9th house. All right. Okay, yeah, let's line this up really quick and let me re-roll for the deck in. Okay, 3rd node of Virgo. All right. All right, so here, yeah, we are starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. Now, this is very beneficial, because what it's saying, if we look at the 3rd node of, or I'm sorry, the 3rd decan of Virgo, we call it the Lord of Wealth. And with the North Node influencing that, it's saying that, yes, wealth is the goal of this lifetime. Wealth is the end result of this lifetime. Having that wealth. And it's more than just about money in the bank account. It's also about the wealth of family as well. Multi-generational type of wealth. So yeah, it's really interesting, because here these South nodes are saying, look, you were wealthy in the past, you were successful in the past. And the North Node is also saying, look, you're headed for wealth. You're headed for more wealth. Whatever decision that you have to make, whatever you are starting out on, it's all right, because you're starting to be recognized for it. And the ultimate result of all of that is wealth. And again, not just wealth, not just money, but also health and happiness as well. So with it being in the 9th house, it would suggest that either some type of higher learning, spirituality, or travel would have to be associated with it to kind of really help to manifest it. With this particular reading, I would say there's probably two things. You may have to travel to meet this person to ask for this loan, or you may have to just come up with a really good business plan. Take the higher path. Be really good at selling what you are trying to sell. If we look back at the element of spirit, we see Saturn's influence, and Saturn lays waste to bad planning. Saturn will come in and destroy the whole thing if you don't have everything ready to go. If you don't have your I's dotted and your T's crossed, Saturn will get rid of it. So here it's saying, it's suggesting, really sort of look towards the high road in trying to sell this. Look towards, again, like I said, come up with a really good business plan. Come up with the projections for how much you plan to profit the first year, second year, third year, those types of things. How show how you're going to get clients if it's a service-based business. Things of that nature. Really have it worked out. Really have it well thought out too, before asking as well. Okay, let's see. Let's move along to the element of water, which is represented by the cups. All right, what is influencing the element of water? Now, water can refer to our emotions. It can refer to our intuition. Sometimes it can also refer to our ancestors. And let's see, what is influencing water? Aha, the King of Pentacles. So, on an emotional level, we know, perhaps even on an intuitive level, we already know that we're going to succeed. Even though we may have a lot of despair, even, we may have, we're not out of the woods yet. We still have some rough waters ahead. But ultimately, we know emotionally that we're good to go. The King of Pentacles, it means that whatever we have to offer, we have sound financial planning. We know in our hearts, we know on an emotional level that yes, it's valid. It is something that needs to be done. I have to mobilize. I need to do this. So yeah, we're very wealthy from an emotional standpoint. Very wealthy in that sense. Very practical in that sense, and very abundant also in that sense as well. Okay, so let's see what the astrology die have to say to that. Another north node. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. So we have 2 north nodes and we have 2 south nodes in this reading. Wow, that's pretty crazy. And Saturn. All right. All right, so we have the north node in Aquarius in the 6th house. All right. A lot of Virgo energy too. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and also with this being Virgo, Virgo is also the perfectionist as well, and unfortunately sometimes being too much of a perfectionist can also stifle our development. So that could be what's leading to some of this indecision right here. But ultimately, that's the wealth card. Ultimately, that perfection is going to lead to a perfection of finances as well. All right, and now we have another Virgo reading over here. Okay, for water. Okay, let's see what decan we're in. Okay, middle decan of Aquarius. All right. So, we're in the middle decan of Aquarius, which is the Lord of earned success. Wow, okay. It's also in Virgo. And with it, yeah, very positive for these last 2 elements. What it's saying is that we have, we're as good as we are going to get, okay? The situation is not going to be any better. We are not going to be any better. This is as good as it gets. So now is the time to make that decision. Now is the time to proceed forward. And now is the time to take the initiative. Because not only are we being recognized for our work, but emotionally, we also are very empowered. And so, yeah, and it's also the Lord of earned success. So what it's saying is that, whoever this is, there's a very level head, a very level-headed approach to this. There's a very practical approach to this. It's just, the fear and doubt is just all in our minds. That's the lesson of this card. Don't let your fire be doused by fear. Just do it. Just proceed with it. Because everything else is pointing to a very positive outlook. Let's see. yeah, and again, the North Node, it's saying that, yes, these are where you're supposed to be going. You are justified in feeling right by this because, you have worked for it. You have perfected it. You have earned it, as, denoted by the Lord of Earned Success. Let's see. So, and it always goes to show that even on like an emotional level, if you feel that strength in your emotions and you feel that strength in your gut, you got to go with it. It's just time. It's time to proceed. It's time to go forward. So, yeah. Okay, let's see if we have any aspects other than the conjunction. Let's see, 30, 60, 11. Let's see. No, not there. 30, 60. Okay. 30, 60, cool. All right, so we have a sextile formed between air and between, actually technically I guess it would be this conjunction and the element of water. So this conjunction between spirit and air is in a sextile with the King of Pentacles. Now, what that would suggest is that, it would suggest that in order to move past, this difficulty in communication, just go back to your emotional strength, okay? This emotion, this abundance right here with this King of Pentacle energy in the emotional element is what will be the key to untying the difficult road ahead with the element of air. So, and that actually makes a lot of sense, because if you are not confident in yourself, and if you don't believe in what you're doing, then it can be very difficult to communicate your ideas. A lot of people who are go-getters in life, who strive to get things done and all of that, it's because on an emotional level, they feel like they are worthy of the fruits of their labor. The fruits of their labor, excuse me. They feel like, they are justified in their actions because they work hard. So, yeah, if you're feeling this abundance right here, then go for it. Ask away. Say what you have to say. Like I said, it could be an inheritance. Although I would say it could also be when applying for a loan as well. A lot of times, if you're not aware of your credit score or of how the credit system works, it could be very intimidating to apply for a loan or apply for a credit card or any one of those types of things. But just go back to that emotional security that you have, and just go back to that sense right there. And also, know as well that people are starting to recognize your work and your contribution. So, if you are experiencing affluenza, then you are definitely valid. You are not being let's say brushed aside so much as you might think. Again, always go back to that emotional confidence, and that'll help to untie this right here, the difficulty in communicating. All right. Let's see, 120. Let's see, we've got almost. 35. No, not quite there. This almost was an inconjunct, but not quite. Let's see, what else might we have? Okay. Yeah, I did think that we did have that. Okay, cool. So we also have a trine that is formed between earth and fire. Okay, so just as water is the catalyst to untying air, so is the earth, the element of earth, that we can use to untie the element of fire. So here it's saying, look, whatever's going on in your head is just that, is what's going on in your head. The despair related to your fire, the fear of your drive, all those types of things. It's all just in your head. You're already being recognized for what you're doing. And, if you think that you are invalidated, or if you think that you aren't being heard or whatever, that's really not the case, because it's happening. So the more you recognize that, yes, you are valid, yes, you are doing the best that you can, you're using your talents to the best that you can, and other people are recognizing that, the more that you do that, the more that this will become untied. So, like I said, I'm glad that these two elements came up to sort of save the day and sort of give us some light at the end of the tunnel, because these are the two that will help us to really, to really get out of this hole, and to really make a decision, and to ask for what we got to ask for in our particular enterprise or endeavor. All right, let's see if there's anything else. I think that's about it. 90, let's see, 90, within 3. No, this is just out. Okay, this almost formed a square, but not quite. Let's see, 1 degree off, or I should say 1 number off. Yeah, so that seems to be the message of today. Okay, so that's about it for today. I hope that you got some confirmation or clarification on what's been happening, if you have been resonating with this. I hope everything works out, and I also hope to see you again next week. So, thanks again for joining me. Much love and blessings, and I love you all.